Welcome back to PrepperNow. Today I've got a very different one. This is an interesting one. It's a different one. But I think it's extremely important. For those that have been around a while, they know that especially used to, I used to kind of do prepper mental status videos on how important it is to basically be in a good way mentally. And this is actually, we all have SHTFs that happen to us. Okay? All of us, as we grow up, as we grow older, as we live, personal SHTFs happen to us. Some of these things can affect us deeply. And over the last few days, my wife basically said that she's dealing with one of those, and she's figuring it out. She's in a good way right now, and this is something I kind of knew about, but I didn't know the severity of her growing up. So let me give you an example of the kind of in the past SHTF thing that you could have gone through, or maybe you've had, or maybe it's something else. I truly believe that as the human experience goes through, we all have these things that happen, and we're all humans. And I'm going to be a big pussy tonight. I'm going to be honest with you, okay? If being a pussy means that you feel sympathetic for your wife, empathetic for your wife, because she's been harboring something for a long time, and she's starting to deal with it, and you care about your family and you want to raise them in a good Christian way, and be a good example and a protector, then I'm a big pussy. Okay, so for all the people and all the trolls that are gonna come in the comments or whatever, there you go. Okay, you can call me that. One of the beautiful things about this channel is that I am anonymous. So because of that, I can be honest in ways I honestly think other people can't. So, everybody goes through different things as we grow up. There's terrible experiences that we go through. And I'm going to round this out. I'm going to put it into prepping at the end. Okay, so just like M.D. Creekmore did a video on dating at 50, and how horrible it is. And first and foremost, I really like M.D. Creekmore. He is one of my top 10 channels I go to. I think he's a great prepper. He seems like a really solid dude. He's one of the other prepper channels that, like, if I got the chance to meet him and talk to him, I would absolutely take that chance. I like him. I'll just full disclosure. But he did a video and it really went viral. Whatever. This isn't about going viral, but it kind of made me think about going in different directions. And so this thing has come to light over the last few days, and it's been an emotional thing for us. But at the same time, taking it and thinking about prepping and life in general, and some of the crazy crap that is coming down the pike, how important it is for people to have their mental space in a good way for what is to come. Okay, so that's the overarching theme of this. We all go through things as we go through life. An example of this, and I'm not going to name exactly what my wife is dealing with, okay? But this will give you an example. My father is the child of an abusive father. And when he was growing up, he a lot of times had to protect his sister and his mom. His dad was violent, to put it lightly. And I never knew my grandfather on my dad's side. I knew my mom's grandparents. They were great. I never knew my dad's father. And the day he died, I was probably high school. The day he died, my father said one word. He said, good. And that's it. And to be honest with you, with the exception of 2 stories in about 35 years, I've never heard, I don't know what he looks like. I've never seen his picture. I don't know what color his hair is. I don't know if he was big. I don't know if he was small. I don't know. I don't know anything. With the exception of the bare minimum of where he grew up and the kind of environment that it was in. So my father has never really dealt with that on a mental health kind of space. Now what he did is he was as good of a father as possible to my brother, myself, and my wife, or my mother. And I remember there was one day my brother jokingly put up a hand to act like he was going to smack my mom. I mean, in his mind, he thought he was being funny, he was being cute, he was a high schooler. And I saw a side of my father that I never wanted to see again, because he basically said, to put it quickly and lightly, I brought you into this world, I'll take you out. So there is the backstory. And I'm sure every single one of you has something in your past, something that you have had to deal with. It's loss, it's abuse, it's all kinds of different things. Me personally, 18 years ago, November 25th, 2024, I will celebrate 18 years of sobriety. And to get through that, I had to go through the steps. I had to have a sponsor. I went through AA, and I did a lot of different things. And I had to be very honest with myself. And at that time, I kind of just really decided to be as honest as a human being as I possibly could. Now, have I just, been, George Washington, I cannot tell a lie? No, of course, I'm a human being. But you can count on my thumbs and maybe a finger or two the times that I've lied to my wife. Okay? And generally what happens is I'll say some white lie, because I wanted to do something, or I wanted to go get it. Like there's been some prepper moments, right? Oh, I was at Aldi. I was just picking stuff up when realistically I went and I bought $200 worth of canned goods like I did in summer of 2020 and loaded up, the bug out farm with a bunch of canned goods that we're still going through to this day. Things like that. Well, eventually I told her, I said, I wasn't just at Aldi because, I was picking up some milk. I had ulterior motives, right? This is a normal thing. This is, I shouldn't have done it, but, we're not talking cataclysmic crap here. So my wife, a couple days ago, basically, we're lying in bed and I had no clue what was coming. And she had talked about an event in her past that was really murky and hard to talk about and to process, but in her mind, she was okay. It wasn't terrible. It's a common theme of some, a lot of people have had to deal with this sort of trauma. Okay, for those that don't know, in my educational life, I've actually given out a lot of. I was trained in trauma, and I've actually even done a couple of in-house seminars on trauma for kids. I think Rona 2020 did a lot of traumatic things to our kids. Okay, there's a lot of anyway. I don't need to go further. I think you're getting what I'm picking up. So. So, I got an idea of what this thing is. And when you go through trauma when you're a child, it affects your neurons. Okay, now, for those who know that, it's called ACEs. They're called Adverse Childhood Event Survivors. ACES, okay? And it's becoming something that, we're all dealing with in the education world. We, some schools are, all about it, and there's special schools for it. These are kids that go through really rough things as they're growing up. They lose their parent. They're abused. They're moved around a lot. They're homeless for a little bit of time. there's a lot of different scenarios that can turn someone as a child into an ACEs. And this carries on. And it actually, when this happens, if you're, growing and your cognitive mental space is developing, and to put it in a visual for people, when your brain is developing as a child, it branches out. It's like a tree growing branches. And these are synapses, and they're going all over, and they're learning input, and they're learning output, and they're moving, and they're firing, and they're getting stimulus. And what does that stimulus do? What centers of the brain does it go? What does it trigger? A lot of this stuff is now starting to be a lot more known, and a lot of people go through this, and it's a tough thing sometimes. It's a tough thing to deal with events from your past. Okay. Now, to put it on the prepper level, this is, I think, an SHTF. I think that everybody goes through their own, in varying degree, personal SHTFs, whatever it may be. Yours is going to be yours. You got to tell me about it in the comments or whatever. If you have something that happened to you and you really do want to share it, as I learned in AA, it grows in the dark and it dies in the light. And I've always been a really big proponent of that in my relationship with my wife. And, she'll have tough things to talk about. And I'll say, you know what, you can tell me anything. Just say it. It grows in the dark and it dies in the light. When you release it, when you free it from yourself, it goes out and it does things. There's a freeing effect, okay? There's a little bit of healing. Whatever the hell, kind of crap that I bet someone's really like, oh, I just want to talk about guns and beans, sir. Why you got to talk about this woman stuff? So 3 days ago, she basically told me this event, okay, and said, I've been seeking some outside assistance, and really just kind of laid some heavy bricks on me. And, it was a stunning conversation because I learned a lot more about my wife than I had ever really had known. I had known of the event. I knew, but I didn't know exactly. And she detailed it for me. And the reason why she was able to do that is because a few months ago, she started to go and seek outside people to talk to because she was really having this manifest ways in her life. She's looking around and she's like, I've got everything I could ever want. I've got a great family. I've got a great home. I've got friends. I've got my mom close to me. I've got a great career and job. I'm there's certain, I could, she can lose some weight or whatever. I don't personally care, but for her health, that's about it for her. She's not on any drugs or anything like that, but she's just a good person. I love her more than I love myself, as I told her the other night. And so she lays all this, out on me and we start to process it and I'm going through it. And she had to go and take some outside help. And at first, the first couple sessions, she found this person randomly and, our insurance will cover it. And I'm not sitting there poring over the books, worrying about what insurance does to what, because we're on my insurance. And she starts to see this lady. And the lady the first two times is, they just have topical conversations, but nothing really comes to light. And the lady just looked at her in the third session and said, "Why are you here?" And at that point, my wife just unloaded on her and told her all the gory details. And she felt bad because to go and do this, she had to do it for her own mental health without me knowing. And, I told her, I said, I'm a Gen Xer. And, Gen X, we had a bad view of people that went and got outside help on a mental health level. It was kind of a stigma, oh, that they're going and talking to the people that help the crazy people. So she had asked me in the past, like, do you think we should ever consider stuff like that? And I was like, well, no, I dealt with my demons through AA, you know, and I get my other stuff out in other ways. And what was happening with her was, if you guys can remember a couple years ago, even a year ago, she was getting mad at all my YouTubing. And basically the way she explained it was, you know, you're sitting there and you're like living your best life, and you got a YouTube channel and you're able to go and do that, and you're working your career and that's going good, and you're you know, coaching the kids and, you know, other stuff going on, you know, start playing music again. And she was jealous because she had this thing and it wasn't really resolved. And because of that, it was in her mind holding her back. So about 4 or 5 months ago, I started to notice a little bit of a change. She was okay with the YouTube for some reason. I asked her about being in a music act a year and a half ago. And at first, you know, it was kind of like agreed upon that I wasn't going to play music again. I love playing music. It's extra income. And, you know, it is what it is. And, you know, a couple years ago, well, Rona was Rona. There was no music playing out anyway. But she kind of surprised me when she said yes. I was like, hey, I got an opportunity to play with these guys. What do you think? She's like, yeah, I think it's good for you. So that's when the change started to happen. But she still was harboring this big, terrible memory monster from her past when she was a child. And she started to deal with it. And 3 nights ago, she basically came clean because she felt bad. She felt like she was lying to me by not telling me about the sessions and what she was trying to get accomplished and what the event was and what happened. And she really just kind of told me a lot of stuff about it, and even some moments of her past, because there was other things that were tied onto it. I'll just leave it at that. And so I was like, okay, yeah, let's talk about this. Grows in the dark, dies in the light. Let's talk about it. And so she did, and she really just kind of came clean. And, you know, I mean, I was honestly 2 days ago, she said, you know, everything is fine, and I'm healing, and I've never felt better, and she shows that. But still, deep down, there's some questions, you know. There's been a couple times in the past where she's gotten mad at me, and she's held on to it for a very long time, and it's blown up in like a rando argument. One such thing was when my first daughter was born. I was going back to school, and I had to rush out to class. Well, she had just had this brand new, beautiful baby, and we were sitting there having family time. I said, sorry, I got to go to class. And she was mad. And the reason why is because, you know, my class didn't matter. The family mattered. And looking back, I would have stayed with her and my daughter. But at that time, I was also in the mode. I'm like, I'm all right. I'm changing things. I'm going back to school. And I'm going to, you know, we're doing some different things now. And I gotta get out of the restaurant business, and I got to move on and be a provider. I got a brand new baby on the way. You know, dad mode was in full gear, even though I handled that situation poor. So 2 years later, we're sitting on the side of a highway, and next daughter's coming in a couple months. It's pouring down rain. We pull over on the side of the highway. We were in Cincinnati at that time. Pulled over off of 275, and she just let me have it and basically screamed at me for not being there for the first daughter and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, okay, you know, I'm going to be there for the second one. I'll never do that again, and yada, yada. But she held on to it for a long time, right? And so this was kind of that same thing. And so in the back of my mind, you know, I'm worried, like, is this, is this something that's going to continue? And I don't think so. I think she's going to kind of move on from here, okay? So it's at 20 minutes. I wanted to time this thing where at 20 minutes I could start to talk about prepping. So the people don't want to hear the bullshit, BS backstory, and they just want to hear prepping and stuff. I can say, hey, prepping portion begins at 20 minutes, all right? So why did I tell you this story? Besides the fact that it's been really in the back of my mind and I've been dealing with it because, I love my wife and I love my family. And, one of the reasons why I am a prepper is because the job is pretty clear, folks. And for the men out there that know what I'm about to tell you, the job of a prepper as a man is to protect your family at all costs. No matter what that is, whatever the threat level it is, you're as Brad says on Full Spectrum Survival. Keep watch. We're keeping watch here. I'm watching everything. My job is simple. Everybody that is under my steed in my home is going to survive and live a wonderful, good life, and that's because I'm going to do everything I can to make that happen, financially, emotionally, whatever, environmentally. Okay. That's why I prep. That's why I started prepping in 2012 and why I continue to this day to still prep. Even to the fact now, even my wife, who's dealt with all this, even she's kind of down with prepping. She makes some of the best dang sourdough bread ever now. She's actually making a new start right now. She's been super sick. She's starting to feel a little bit better. So she's been dealing with that too. But we kind of feel like we're turning a page in the house. So the reason I told you all this is because we're going into some really, really, really tough times. And the good news is none of this is going to happen on a dime. There's still a slow erosion kind of effect that is going on. And one of the things that I think all of you guys should do is to get everything in order as it pertains to your health. Whether that's your mental health, whether that's your dental health, whether that's your physical health, all of that stuff. You can store all the beans and rice in the world. If your headspace is not free, clear, and good, and we all have different ways to go about that. I personally think exercise and, community and Christianity and, all that, Christ being your Lord and Savior. That's my personal way. I'm never going to push that upon people through this channel, but that's the way we roll here. Okay? And I think everybody really at this point still has a bit of an opportunity to make it so the things in their lives are able to get better. Everybody has to start to take care of this stuff, because think about right now and like what's going on in Gaza, what's going on in Eastern Europe, what's going on even in Asia. A lot of these things where people, they let stuff go, and now they're in a war-torn country. Now here in America, I'm not worried about sorties happening overhead. What I am concerned about though is like a breakdown of society, a breakdown of financial. I think a lot of Americans don't know what is happening in the background to us financially, and that a lot of these conflicts that are going on around the world are really due to the financial system changing. For those that don't know what Bretton Woods is, for those that don't know, the gold standard and all that, like America right now is really gone through more financial changes in the last few years than we have in the last few decades. If you count in quantitative easing, all that kind of stuff, petrodollar ceasing on June 9th, which I've talked a lot about here, all of that stuff is going to start to really chip away at people's finances. Everybody, it's getting harder and harder and harder out there. And let me give you an example of that. I took my kids out today. First time feeling good. They were at camp all week. Now they're off. And took them to the pool. I worked out. I was just trying to get back to normal. And I took them to the mall. Nothing but crap there. But just for getting out and kind of giving them their time, or whatever. Took them to the mall. And, Went up to a place to get a drink. It was $3.38 for 16-ounce paper cup with 3 ounces of ice in it and a soda. $3.38. It was 99 cents 5 years ago, folks. I'm not that old. I'm not that old. 99 cents at least, maybe 3, 4, 5 years ago. $3.38. I mean, what kind of carbonated gold are you pouring into this cup? So I looked at it and I said, you know what, I'm okay. I'm just gonna go. I'm good. And went to the grocery store and got a big old jug of lemonade tea, some Arnold Palmer, and my kids and I, drank that between us. Because that was $2, and we still got half of it left. But on its face, $3.38 for a fountain drink. The ones at the stores, you go into around us, we got a bunch of Sheets. You go into the stores, which is like Wawa or whatever, right? Come and Go in Iowa. I mean, drinks there are $1.69 now for like the middle range, like the 24, 32 ouncer. So I'm just using that as a reference point. Everything is going to be going up in a very nasty, major way. All of our finances are going to be hit. If you're not putting away food right now, if you're not, doing things to protect yourself here in America specifically, if you're not doing things here to protect yourself, it's going to get really bad. We're just getting started on this merry-go-round. We really are. This thing has not even begun yet. We're just getting started. So, all I can say is this, folks. Get your personal SHTFs out of the way. If you got mental health stuff going on, you need to address it. And there's free services out there. You're going to spend, a crap load of money on a highfalutin psychiatrist or anything like that. There's free services out there. If you got a problem with drinking and drugging, do what I did. Go to AA. It's free. If you got $1, don't worry. They'll still let you in the door. And they'll probably have free coffee for you. Stuff like that. I mean, most people don't accomplish what they want you to accomplish in AA, but, I did, and I was fine, and, my life has become immeasurably, if I can speak, better. It's made me into a father. It's made me into, a guy with a career. It's made me a guy with a little bit of saved money and a little farmette in Central Maryland next to, other Mennonite farms, and it's got me into the community here, and it's, if you're not dealing with your personal SHTFs, if you're not dealing with all that, if you're not getting your teeth cleaned regularly or brushing your teeth every night, I know this is like some 101 stuff, but I don't know if you've been out lately. There's a lot of people out there that are just not taking care of themselves. I mean, if you don't believe what I'm saying, go to a Walmart for a few hours and just walk around. And I know y'all seen it. I mean, start to walk, start to get healthy, start to do things. If you can't do something, do the bare minimum, Maybe just sit there and hold your breath for 45 seconds if you can do it. If you can only do it for 25, try to get to 26. Then try to get to 27. Then try to get to 30. Something like that. Try to do things that are going to get your mental health in order. Try to do things that are going to get your physical health in order. Go get those screens. I get to get a colonoscopy coming up. I'm not looking forward to that. I got to do it. I don't want butt cancer. You don't want butt cancer. Nobody wants butt cancer. But it's a thing. So also think of the other stuff going on. You know, a lot of people out there they have what they call in AA is a case of the efforts. Okay, there's a lot of people out there that are currently really just kind of dragged down and they're not doing well, and you know, they have to. They're underwater. They're underwater with their finances, and they're underwater with things like their mortgage and their car payments and stuff like that. There's a real group of people out there like that right now. And so because of that, they're just like, screw it. I'm not gonna take care of insert, you know, bill or whatever you got there. And they're literally just letting things crumble around them. I heard a story from a person I know that was really having problems, you know, and he needs to change his job. He's only making a certain amount, and he's like, I got to make at least this, and most people do make this. And I was like, well, why don't you look? Like, let's look for a job. You know, what can we do to get you so you're making more money? Is there any side hustles you can do? You know, all that kind of stuff. And he just kind of had this forlorn look, and he's like, I don't know, man. There's not really much I can do. I'm kind of here. I looked, and I can't really find anything else right now. Nobody's really hiring, that kind of thing. It's like, well, at least you got to look. You know, you got to let. And then I looked at him too. I was like, can you sell anything? He's like, oh, I can't sell that. I can't sell this. Well, if you can't sell anything, well, you know, and you're not making enough, and you're underwater and stuff, then you have to do other things to make it so your finances and everything get rolling and are okay. So, but yeah, I don't know. After the event with my wife and seeing everything going on, and then being out in public and just seeing some people like, you know, I mean, the people that are like they just permanently wear pajamas. I mean, there are literally people out there that are just giving up. They're like, I'm over it. I'm going to sit there and anesthetize myself on my phone, and I'm going to eat, you know, cheap crap and, you know, do whatever it is that I do. Game and all that kind of stuff. That's a whole other thing. People that are just wasting their lives away gaming. You know, I don't know. It's getting pretty tough out there for people, you know. So, yeah, all I can say is, folks, you got to take care of yourself. You got to take care of your family. If there are things that are underlying in the back of your head that are messing with you, you got to take care of that. You got to go and you got to fix your health problems. If you got some abscess on your foot and it's not going away, you got to get it looked at. You know, you got to take care of yourself. You got to do things to make it so you are healthy, because I really do think what's coming down the pike is not going to be easy for a lot of people to handle. You know, I cite the 10% thing, the Soviet Union, 10% died, Soviet Union, blah, blah, blah. I cite that a lot. I think a lot of those people just gave up. And that's another thing. Like, it's never, ever, ever time to give up. I see what they're doing up in Canada. And for those that don't know, what they're doing up in Canada with people is basically making it so if they want to tap out, they can tap out. No one should ever do that. You should never tap out of this world by your own hand. There's always a chance to turn things around. There's always another scenario that you can get to that it's going to make it so you're better. Trust me, when I was drinking and drugging, man, there was many a night I was like, what am I doing here? I don't even, you know, I got nothing to show for it. I'm a freaking failure. Why am I here? Trust me, that popped up a lot in my head. Thank God, G-O-D, God, the good Lord above, Jesus Christ, thank God that he tapped me on the shoulder when I was sitting there in a Seattle apartment, just soiling myself sometimes at night. and said, you know what, you're better than this. And thank God for my friend who was living in New York City and said, you know what, you're better than this. And thank God he and his wife for opening up their home so I could come and take care of my problems. Thank God I never fell off the wagon in 18 years. 17 and a half, whatever. Thank God. Thank God I wake up every day knowing that in the back of my mind, I could go out there and do something really stupid every day and turn everything back to where it was. And I don't ever want to do that. Thank God for that. Thank God for my wife who, after 1 year of getting clean, saw something that I never even knew that I had inside. Something that I didn't know. I don't look at myself like I'm any kind of a catch or any kind of anything. You know, I tell her all the time, trust me, I married up. Thank God she saw something in me. And thank God she gave me 3 beautiful kids, because now they're what I'm running on. All these things, man. This is what it's about. Like you gotta prep, not just because, it's cool to put food away or it might get tough. I mean, you gotta have things that you're living for. You gotta have hope. You gotta have like a reason to put all that crap away, a reason to go and buy whatever contraption is. I have a solar oven. I got that thing because it's like, what happens if the power goes down? I need to cook food. Okay, I'll use the sun. This thing is really cool. I've never really used it. It's not that hard. You bust it open, you put it in the sun, you put some meat in there, and the freaking reflection in the sunlight cooks it at a couple hundred, degrees after it warms up. Takes a little while, but it works. That's pretty cool. All that kind of stuff, You gotta have a reason to get through all this stuff. There's got to be a reason for you to prep. You're gonna have terrible things go on in your life. We all have had nasty stuff, and my sobriety is just one portion. There's actually other things that have happened in my life that I will not, divulge here. But there is some tough stuff in other areas of my life that I've had to go through. It is what it is, and I'm not looking for sympathy from that. I'm just, you can't give up. You can't stop. You can't sit there and go, you know what? This is the way my life is for the rest of my life. That's not true. Every passing moment is another chance to turn it all around. You can always, next day is always a possibility to be better than the day that you are right now, the day that you have right now. I mean, that's why I've really gotten into God, It started with my sobriety, and the reason why is because, why me? Why? It wasn't personal strength. I mean, it was just something metaphysically and spiritually giving me a leg up. And I knew plenty of people. I know people that I was at a meeting, man, someone died on the freaking bathroom floor. That happens all the time. Right now, there's someone dying from drugs and alcohol. Right now. And guess what? Another one's dying now. And guess what? Another one's dying right now. And I bet there's people here that are struggling with some stuff like that. Maybe it's just, I binge drink and I can go a week, but then, my cousin comes over and we drink like we're in freaking college or something like that. It is what it is. So I know this is very different. That's probably not why I have, people in here. I don't know. Maybe YouTube did what they did to my other channel. And they said, okay, we're not going to put you in the shorts feeds anymore because you're a little too truthy on stuff. And God knows this message is such a just, it's not evil enough. So, whatever. I know this is different. But what is the point of prepping if you're not taking care of yourself? What is the point of prepping if you're not in a good headspace? What is the point of prepping if you're, being nasty to other people? Like, what's the point? The point of prepping, folks, is taking care of your stuff, taking care of your family, protecting those you love around you, having a little bit of extras should you need to be charitable or help a person that hasn't done that, because it's never bad to give a little bit of charity. You don't got to give them everything, but it's always good to have a little bit extra because you never know. I mean, at worst, you can barter with it. But it's very important that you keep your mental space good. It's really important that you're doing the things that are going to keep you healthy. Okay? Because if you're not doing that kind of stuff, all this prepping doesn't make sense. It's and I don't know what that looks like for you. You know, for me, I've gotten into my church here. I've gotten into I was into AA for a long time, and now I'm into coaching, and I'm into, doing things for my kids and the other students and stuff like that. I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is that makes you feel like you have worth, but you need to find it. And maybe that starts by asking God for help. Maybe you just need to go into a quiet bathroom like I used to do and sit down on your knee amongst the dirt and crap on the floor. Don't worry, your knee will get clean again. And say, please help me. And that's it. You got to give some long-winded this or that. Maybe you just need to say, please help me. Or God, I can't do this. Or I can't do this. And then take steps to make yourself get better. Whatever that may be. It's important. It's important. Because if you're not there, then it doesn't matter what happens to your family. You're never. Well, it does, but you're not going to be there to help them. You got to do things to help yourself stay in the game. If there's something in the back of your mind that's chewing up on you, and you can't get past it, you got to do something about it. And there's places in the church, there's free spots, there's people you can pay for, there's all kinds of stuff like that. All of it. As Minuteman says, God works harder to save the sinner than he does the righteous. Absolutely correct. I'm going to end on this. When I was getting sober, I had to tell my mom that I stole something from her. And, I'm doing my steps, and part of the steps is atoning for your sins and going and telling people that you had done wrong. Now, the good news for me was that I wasn't really into taking a bunch of stuff. I was very self-destructive, but it wasn't like I was breaking into people's homes or anything like that. But there was a time when I raided my mom's jewelry, and I took one of her gold, whatever the heck it was, a necklace or something like that. And I got $100 for it or something like that. And I immediately took that down to the pawn shop, and I got the $100. And from there, I went to the dealer, and I got my 3 to 4 hours of headspace, which just made me even sicker and made me feel even worse than it was before. And I had to tell my mom that when I was getting clean and sober. My sponsor said, you have to talk about this. You got to tell her. This is all part of it, like other things. And this was a big one for me. And I told her. And the funny thing is that when I told my mom, and at this point, I'm getting sober. I'm like 4 or 5 months into sobriety, 6 months. And so she was just happy with what was going on as it was. So when I told her, I said, do you remember that gold chain that you had? And I described it to her. And she said, wow, I haven't thought about that thing in forever. I don't even know I had it. I thought I lost it. She didn't even know it was gone. And to me, it was like this huge thing. I stole from my mom. I was not proud of that. But when I told her, and she said, I hadn't even thought about it. It's okay. You literally like Mom saw I spilt the milk at the table. She was like, oh, it's cool. I haven't seen that in years. I don't even know I had it still. But for me, it was this huge thing. And I let it go. And I let God. And at that point, I really started to heal. And at that point, I knew that all of this that's going on all around us, folks, is not random. There's a reason. There's a reason for all this stuff. There's a reason. There is a God. I believe that. I believe he's working in ways. I do. So, I don't know what it looks like for you, but I know what it looks like for me now. It's been a long time coming. And I got a big shock to the system this week. I got a big reminder. And the first thing I thought of, because he used to tell me when I was in the program, yeah, you might be having a good day, you might be having a good week, you might be having a good month, you might be having a good year. But that demon, that beast, he is outside in the parking lot. And he's doing push-ups because he wants you. And this week, the beast tried to get in another way. He tried a way. He tried a long way around. He tried a way I didn't even see. He did. And there's still work to be done. You know, there's some things that we got to do, and we got to make sure that everything is on the up and up. But I got to tell you, be careful, man. We are not of this world. I've been saying that a lot in the last year. Like, I don't feel like I'm a part of this world anymore in many certain ways. I don't understand a lot of things going on around me anymore. Now, that doesn't mean I'm going to quit. Doesn't mean I'm going to stop. Doesn't mean I'm not going to be vocal and say, you know what? That's wrong. Shouldn't do that. I'm not going to stop that. In fact, I think it's more important now that I do that. That's why I think it's more important now that I keep prepping. That's why I think it's more important now that I get my finances in order and pay off the bills and do everything I can so I have more things coming in so I can handle whatever the hell it is that's coming, and there's something coming. I know it. I know it. We're all about to get smacked upside the head, folks. We really are. With a lot of crap. And if things are not in order, if you're not healthy in whatever way you think you need to get healthier, and if you are healthy, here's another point. If you are healthy, then you need to work and get the people that you care about around you to be healthy as well. That doesn't mean you look down your nose. It doesn't mean you're looking kind of fat now. You don't do that kind of stuff. You know, you lead by example. And you say, you know, like my wife and I have been really trying to, you know, in the last couple months, she's lost 10 pounds, I've lost 20. And I got more to go. But we're really trying to eat clean tonight. I didn't want to have salmon and roasted carrots for dinner tonight. I didn't. I wanted a big old fat burger and some fries with cheese on them and yada, yada, yada. I wanted that, but I'm not going to have it. I'm going to have some nice salmon and roasted carrots and, you know, a little 80-calorie Talenti ice cream bar because it feels like I'm rewarding myself, but it's not, all that kind of stuff. Like, and I'm counting all the calories and all that because it's coming. I'm about to pay off my shed 2 years early. You know why? Because it's coming. I'm trying to invest myself in my local community with my church more, and there's more I could do there. I need to become not just a member of the church, I need to become an active participant in the church, as in help others. Because it's coming. All this stuff is coming. I got to be a good example for my children. Because it's coming. I got to teach them right and wrong. I got to say, my kid was wanting to buy something today. I said, do you want to buy that because you want that? Or do you want the feeling of the purchasing? Like, what is this that you want to do? And he basically admitted, he said, I just want to buy something. And I looked at him, I said, you want to know what? When you're growing up, man, you got to learn impulse control. And I told my other daughters that too. They were over there at Bed Bath & Beyond wanting to get some lavender perfume or something like that. Impulse control. You know, there's a time and a place. We can wait on that. Doesn't mean you can't have it, just means not now. All that kind of stuff. I was telling my kids too, I want a brand new, beautiful truck. I do. And I'm driving a 2008, hybrid because it gets 40 miles to the gallon and, it's not dented up or crappy or anything like that, but it's good enough. It saves me money on gas and I own it. And when I get done paying off the shed, I'm going to pay off my wife's car. Probably about 2 years early. Because I got to get the finances in order. So, that's what I'm talking about. Like, all of us have gone through, let me sum all this up. We're all going to go through stuff, folks. We're all going to have nasty experiences. We're going to have things that are going to try and trip us up. Devil's going to come in, and whether you believe in him or not, some force is going to come in, try and smack you upside the head, and make it so, you're having a tough time. All that stuff's going to happen. You can't stop though. You got to keep chopping your feet, like my football coach used to say. Son, keep chopping those feet. Keep chopping those feet. Don't stop. You don't stop until you hear that whistle blows, and even then, keep chopping those feet. Can't stop now, folks. It's getting to go time. We're getting there. It's getting to go time. All this stuff going on in the world around us, this isn't random. All this stuff going on around us is happening for a reason. If you're in the West is dying. If you're in the West, our culture is toxic. All the things that we should be vaunting and like raising up in goodness are now considered to be bad. All of it. Like, why don't we have a dad's month? Why? You want to solve problems? You want to solve crime? You want to solve issues of society? Let's make dadding great again. Let's put dads back in the home. Why don't we focus there? Because I can tell you, if there was more men, and this is a man thing, this isn't a woman thing, this is a man thing. If there were more men out there that would own up and be in their kids' lives for whatever way it is, even if you're separated or whatever, we need better fathers. We need better men in this culture. We do, because that's getting toxic. We need better families too. We hold all the things that we shouldn't be caring about, all the things that should be behind closed doors and not talked about because it's improper and it's just uncouth. That's the crap they want you talking about. It's BS. We need to have more men. We need to have more of a healthy society out there. The reason why mental health crap is going out the window, the reason why people are having so many problems right now is because this culture that we're in is toxic. And it does things to people that are just of a terrible way. It's toxic. So I don't know what that looks like for you. I don't know what it looks like for you. I don't know if you got a bad tooth and you need to get it fixed. And you don't have health care, dental care. I don't know if your legs have been my 4 or 5 months ago, my legs were starting to feel it when I would do long gigs. And I thought I might actually have to go and use compression socks. And I started to think about it. I was like, man, this is like, come on, man. And so I started to really care and like change, start to do things. And sure enough, I don't need anything like that. I was at the gym today. I was in there for 2 hours. I don't want to be there for 2 hours. I'd rather be at home playing on my phone. But guess what? I got to take care of business. Take care of business, folks. Get your stuff in order. If you're older, that doesn't mean you got to go out and run a marathon or anything like that. There's other things. There's freaking like websites out there with sitting exercises and stuff like that. I mean, long as you're above ground, you got a chance. Long as you're above ground, everything's going to be fine. So, Bad Bobber, Three things I have spoken unto you, that I might have peace in the world. Ye shall have tribulation, but be of good cheer. I have overcome the world. Absolutely. Now, I don't go into the biblical. I don't, put my faith out there like this is, trying to be, anything that I'm not, or, trying to, like, oh, that'll be a good way to get more people to subscribe. I'm not like that. I used to take care of rock stars and dignitaries. I don't ever want to be known. I don't ever want to be famous. You want to talk about a miserable life? Go look at the free time, the free life of a person that is a celebrity. It is absolute HE double hockey sticks. I wouldn't wish that upon my worst enemy. You haven't lived until you've seen the painful look on a rock. I could tell you this guy's name. You'd be like, holy crap. What do you mean? I could tell you this dude's name. He came in one night and he could not move. He had 10 rows of people around him at all sides. Could not move. And the look on his face, I will never forget. He just had this like, please God, get me out of here. This is awful. Everybody wanting his autograph. I wouldn't wish that on anyone. I'm not here because I'm looking for subscribers. I can already tell by the numbers on the live stream. They've taken me out of the freaking the shorts feed. What YouTube was doing was, the reason why I do this thing here is on the shorts feed, they would put you, if you live stream from your phone, and they put you into it. And then you would get a lot of extra views, and I'd gain a lot of subscribers, and it was cool. And I was getting, sometimes getting 100 subscribers. Well, I can tell just by seeing right here, they changed it. Oh, well. Oh, well. It is what it is. Friends, you got to be healthy. You got to take care of your business. And you got to get prepped. I teach history. I've seen some of the most terrible things happen through books and videos and other things. And I really believe things are coming to this country that are not going to be easily fixed. Things are coming to this country that are going to rip people's faces off. And I'm not talking about really actually like take the skin from the, I'm talking like just shock and awe them in ways that they had no clue. We always talk about the wheelbarrow people trying to buy the bread in Weimar, Germany. Stuff like that. Now, you can recover from all that, but the people that are putting away today, the people that are doing what they're supposed to do today, they're the ones that are going to get through it quickly. As for the story about my wife and I, my point is that you got to get all this stuff right now. Okay? And that's easier said than done. You got to work on your health. You got to do all these mental health and physical health things. Because if you don't, all the stuff in the world isn't going to save you. Not if you're not right in the head. I don't know what that looks like for you, but I know what it looks like for me. And I don't know. As I used to say, I'm not even supposed to be here right now. I probably should have exited this earth when I was in my early 30s. It was some of the stupid stuff I was doing. I can think back to more than one occasion where if a couple of little twists and turns in the story would have done what they did, I wouldn't be talking to you from this, computer, telephone, whatever right now. So, please, 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 take care of your stuff and keep prepping. All right? I appreciate you being here. Hit that like button, and God bless. PrepperNow. We'll see you tomorrow. I won't probably do another one of these for quite some time, but I don't know. It's just, I wanted to talk about it, and I wanted to tie it into prepping and make it so everything was understood, because This affected me.